At any given moment, there are more than 50,000 cargo ships moving across the oceans. They don't carry tourists. They don't carry headlines. They carry the modern world itself. If ocean shipping stopped for just a few weeks, supermarkets would empty, factories would shut down, and entire economies would freeze. And yet most of us have never seen how any of it actually works. Right now, at this exact moment, your phone, your shoes, the chair you're sitting on, and even the coffee cup on your table all share one thing in common. At some point in their life, they were floating in the middle of the ocean, not flying, not driving, floating. More than 90% of everything people buy travels this way, yet almost nobody thinks about it. That's because the system that moves the modern world was designed to stay invisible. When you click Buy Now, you think about delivery speed. 2 days, 1 day, same day. But long before that countdown starts, your product already completed the longest and most important part of its journey. Weeks at sea, thousands of miles, inside a steel container you will probably never see. If you enjoy documentaries on different topics that explain the world in simple, unexpected ways, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. This channel is about curiosity, about stories that reveal how everyday things actually work once you look behind the scenes. Everything in this story revolves around one simple object, the shipping container. It doesn't look revolutionary, but it is. A container is not just a metal box. It is a global standard. Its size is fixed, and it cannot be changed casually, because every ship, port crane, truck trailer, and train car on Earth is built around those exact dimensions. There are only a few container sizes used worldwide, and the most important one is the standard 40-foot container. It is about 12 meters long, 2.4 meters wide, and 2.6 meters high. This size was locked in decades ago. Ports, ships, cranes, trucks, railroads, everything was built around it. Changing it today would mean rebuilding global trade from scratch, which is simply impossible. Because the container size is fixed, companies cannot change the container. They can only change what goes inside it. That's why packaging design is not about aesthetics. It's about geometry. It's about how many units fit into a single container and how many containers fit onto a single ship. This is where Apple comes in. When Apple removed chargers and headphones from iPhone boxes, it wasn't mainly about selling accessories. Smaller boxes meant more iPhones per container. More phones per container meant fewer containers. Fewer containers meant fewer ships, less fuel, and lower shipping costs per device. When you ship tens of millions of iPhones every year, saving even a few centimeters per box changes the entire supply chain. To understand the scale of modern shipping, look at a real vessel like MSC Irina. It is nearly 400 meters long, longer than 4 football fields. It can carry more than 24,000 containers at once. Fully loaded, that's over 700,000 tons of cargo. And all of it is moved by a crew of roughly 25 people. A floating city operated by fewer people than a small restaurant. Inside those containers are things most people never imagine crossing oceans. Entire data centers shipped in sections. Electric vehicle batteries weighing several tons each. Industrial robots, power transformers, even refrigerated containers carrying vaccines. Insulin and blood plasma travel by sea every day, monitored by sensors that track temperature in real time. When these ships arrive, they don't just dock. They enter ports that function like fully automated logistics cities. The Port of Los Angeles alone handles over 9 million containers every year. That's about 1 container every 3 seconds, day and night. The port employs tens of thousands of workers directly and supports hundreds of thousands of jobs across the United States. A single ship-to-shore crane can lift containers weighing more than 60 tons and move them with centimeter-level precision. Drivers, crane operators, logistics planners, and software engineers all work together in tightly synchronized shifts. A delay of even 1 hour can ripple across the entire supply chain. And when something goes wrong, the world feels it immediately. In 2021, the container ship Ever Given entered the Suez Canal during strong winds. The massive vessel lost steering control, drifted sideways and became wedged across the canal. One ship blocked nearly 12% of global trade. Over 400 ships were forced to wait. Oil prices reacted. Factories slowed production. Retail shelves emptied faster than expected. Each day of blockage cost the global economy billions of dollars. For a few days, the invisible system that moves the world became visible to everyone. And this is why ocean shipping matters. Not because it's dramatic, not because it's fast, but because it works, quietly, constantly, moving nearly everything you touch, wear, or use across the planet before you ever notice. But this system is under pressure. The ships are getting bigger. The ports are struggling to keep up, and the oceans themselves are changing. Climate change is already altering shipping routes, increasing storm intensity, and raising sea levels around the world's most critical ports. The system that feels so stable is, in reality, extremely fragile. Many of the world's largest ports were built decades ago at sea levels that no longer exist. Today, flooding already disrupts operations in places like Shanghai, Rotterdam, and Houston. Even a small rise in water levels can shut down cranes, damage infrastructure, and delay thousands of containers at once. At the same time, global shipping depends on a surprisingly small number of choke points: the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, the Strait of Hormuz, the Strait of Malacca. If just one of these locations becomes unstable, the entire system feels it almost instantly. This is why modern shipping is no longer just about moving goods. It's about geopolitics, energy security, military planning. Nations don't just protect their borders anymore. They protect shipping lanes, ports, and logistics hubs, because that's where real power flows in the modern world. China understands this. The United States understands this. Europe understands this. That's why ports are becoming strategic assets, why shipping companies merge into massive alliances, and why control over logistics is increasingly treated like control over oil once was. And yet, for most people, all of this remains invisible. We see shelves restocked, packages delivered, prices changing slightly, but we never see the ships waiting offshore, the containers stacked like buildings, or the workers keeping everything moving through nights, storms, and holidays. The modern world feels digital, instant, weightless, but beneath that illusion is steel, fuel, gravity, and human labor. A physical system moving at planetary scale every single day without applause or attention. But the most fragile part of this system isn't storms, canals, or even accidents. It's timing. Modern shipping works on razor-thin margins. Ports don't have space to store containers for long. Ships don't wait. Trucks arrive exactly when containers are unloaded. Everything is synchronized to the hour, sometimes to the minute. This is called just-in-time logistics. Companies don't store massive reserves anymore. Warehouses are expensive. Inventory is risk. So instead of stockpiling goods, businesses rely on ships arriving exactly when needed. It's efficient, it's cheap, and it works until it doesn't. During the COVID pandemic, this system was pushed to its limits. Factories shut down, ships waited offshore, containers piled up in the wrong places. Suddenly, there weren't enough containers where goods were being produced, and too many where nobody needed them. The global flow broke. Shipping prices exploded. A container that once cost $2,000 to move from Asia to the United States suddenly cost $15,000 or more. For some goods, transportation became more expensive than production itself. That cost didn't disappear. It showed up in prices you paid at the store. This is why inflation doesn't start in shops or banks. It often starts on the ocean, in fuel prices, in port congestion, in shipping delays. Long before economists argue on television, the supply chain has already made the decision. Right now, shipping companies are building even bigger ships. Ports are racing to automate faster. Algorithms decide where containers go. Sensors track vibration, temperature, and movement across entire voyages. The system is becoming more efficient, but also more complex and more fragile. And the strange part is this: the better it works, the less we notice it. When shelves are full, nobody asks how things arrived. When prices are stable, nobody thinks about containers. The system only becomes visible when it breaks. So the next time you open a package or see a store shelf fully stocked, remember this: that object didn't just arrive. It survived storms, borders, machines, schedules, and oceans, quietly carried by a system most people never think about, but completely depend on. If you want more documentaries like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. It's the simplest way to support the work and help these stories reach more people.